Good evening, Red class. Here is your problem-solving dividing fractions. Okay, so this is what you have to finish since you didn't do your other notes the other night, so you guys have a little bit of homework. All right, problem-solving dividing fractions. We have Jessica and her 7 friends share 3 liters of apple juice. Now, when you're dividing fractions, you need to make sure that you find out what's your whole. What are you dividing up? So we're dividing up the 3 liters of apple juice. So that's what we're going to make our wholes. So here's 1 liter, here's 2 liters, and here's 3 liters. Now we're going to divide them up of Jessica and her 7 friends. So that's 8 people. So each of these liters, so 1, 1, and 1, are going to be divided up into 8 different parts. Okay, so each one of these is going to be divided up into 8 different parts. Now, after you divide them up into 8 parts, remember at any time you can stop this video. Okay, we're going to see what is 3 divided up into 8. Now, as you realize, these are both whole numbers. Now, one trick that you will need, that you can have, is when you have a whole number, you can write it as a fraction. 3 divided by 8. And that actually gives your answer right there for you, okay? But I'm going to show you a pictorial. So each one of these liters, one person is going to get 1/8 of each liter. So 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 gives me the 3/8. So that's where that 3/8 comes from. Another way you can solve it, of course, is our algorithm. So you're going to keep the first fraction, which is 3/1. You're going to take the addition or change the operation to multiplication, and then we're going to take the reciprocal, or what else we know as flip it. So 3/1 times 1/8. which gives you the 3/8. Okay, so each of Jessica and her friends get 3/8 of the apple juice. Now, that's the only one we're going to draw the picture on, but I did want you to see how each person, here's 1 liter, they get 1/8, 1/8, and 1/8. Okay, and the 1/8 comes from right here when we take the reciprocal of 8/1. Now, Jack bakes 10 trays of cookies using 8 cups of milk. How many cups of milk does he use for each tray of cookie? So first you have to decide, what are we dividing up? Are we dividing up the trays of cookies, or are we dividing up the cups of milk? So you'll realize that we are dividing the cups of milk among the 10 trays. So once again, I have my whole numbers, 8 divided by 10. Okay, now we can do the same thing we did over here. We could write it as a fraction, 8/10. We're going to divide by a common factor, which is 2, which gives you 4/5. So 4/5 of the milk will go to each tray of cookies. Once again, we have the algorithm way if we don't have whole numbers. So we have 8/1. We're going to keep the first fraction. We're going to change the operation to the inverse operation of multiplication, and then we're going to take the reciprocal, which is 1/10. Now, in this one, we can simplify before we multiply. So 8 and 10 have a common factor of 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So once again, we end up with our 4/5. All right, boys and girls, let's go to the next page. And I would like for you to pause your video, and I would like for you to try to do number 3 on your own. And then you can restart it and see how I solved it. Okay? Mark has 1, so I hope you did well. Once again, you did not have to draw your pictures. Now this one is a little bit more difficult because we do have a mixed number in it. So Mark has 1 1/4 hours to finish his 3 chores. He divides the time evenly. How many hours chore? So what is our whole? What are we dividing up? Well, right here it says we're dividing up the time. So the time is 1 1/4, and we're dividing it up among 3/1 chores. Now, we cannot divide by a mixed number, or we cannot even multiply by a mixed number. We have to change it into an improper fraction. So we have one group and 1/4 of a group. So 4 times 1 is 4, plus the 1 left over is 4, divided by your 3/1. Once again, we're going to keep the 5/4. We're going to take the inverse operation, which is multiplication. Now remember, the multiplicative inverse property allows us to flip this fraction, since we're changing it to multiplication, and take 1/3. Because 3/1 times 1/3 is 3/3, which gives you that 1 whole. So that's why we can flip this when we change our operation. Now we do not have anything to simplify and multiply, so we end up with 5 times 1 is 5, and 4 times 3 is 12. So 5/12 of the time is spent on each chore. Okay, so hopefully you got that as well. Once again, I would like for you to pause the video, and I would like you to try number 4 by yourself. A serving size of cereal is 1/3 cup. How many serving size can be made from 3/4 of a cup? So we want to see how many thirds we can get out of 3/4 of a cup. So once again, our whole would be 3/4, and we're going to divide it up into thirds, 1/3 cups. Okay? So we keep the same on the first fraction, inverse operation, and flip the second fraction, taking the reciprocal. We have nothing to simplify before we multiply. 3 is 9. 4 times 1 is 4. Okay? So I'm going to take 9. This is an improper fraction, so I have to simplify it. 9 divided by 4 gives you 2 with 1/4 left over. So you can make 2 1/4 third cups of 3/4 cups. Notice our answer, okay, did get smaller because you're taking 3/4 of it. Okay, so our answer is going to decrease when we do that. All right, boys and girls, so, and if my level classes are watching this, okay, make sure you're taking notes. And my red class, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will be looking forward to seeing you on Monday, and have a great weekend.